As 2024 comes to an end, I have a sincere question for you. What burdens are you still carrying? Old grudges, fears, outdated habits, or even certain people who, without realizing, are keeping you stuck in the past? Now imagine starting 2025 completely renewed, free from the weight of anguish and limitations from the year that's about to end. It's possible, and today I'm going to show you how. I'll reveal 5 burdens you can release right now to start the new year feeling lighter, freer, and truer to yourself. Stoicism teaches us that true freedom comes when we liberate our mind and soul. Are you ready for this change? What I'm about to share will free you from these weights once and for all. Let's begin. Weight number 1. Self-sabotaging thoughts. Have you ever noticed the thoughts that constantly creep into your mind, whispering things like, "I'm not good enough," "I'll never succeed," or "This isn't meant for me"? These self-sabotaging thoughts often become the biggest roadblocks on your path to growth. They're not just fleeting ideas. They shape a narrative you begin to believe. And when you believe in them, your reality starts to bend around them. The saddest part? These thoughts usually show up when you're about to take a big step toward your potential. They're like a persistent, quiet voice telling you to stop before you even try, urging you not to take risks or believe in your worth. Why do we do this to ourselves? Self-sabotage is a reflection of fear, the fear of failure, rejection, or even change. Sometimes, the thought of trying and failing feels safer than trying and succeeding at something new. This creates a cycle where you constantly limit yourself, believing you don't deserve success or aren't good enough. But here's the truth. Failure is actually a great teacher. It's not an end, it's a lesson. The only true failures are the ones that make us give up entirely. Every mistake, every stumble is a chance to grow. If you let go of fear and self-sabotaging thoughts, you'll discover a version of yourself capable of so much more than you imagined. The key to overcoming this is practice and discipline. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and we can control our reactions to negative thoughts. Instead of clinging to fear, you can practice self-compassion. The next time a negative thought arises, instead of judging yourself, ask, "Is this really true? What's the worst that could happen if I try?" Start replacing these self-sabotaging thoughts with realistic and empowering affirmations like, "I'm capable of learning," "I deserve this opportunity," or "I have the strength to face any challenge." By doing this, you open up a world of new possibilities where self-confidence replaces doubt. You can free yourself in 2024. Choose to let go of this weight. Believe that your mind can be your greatest ally, not your enemy. When you look back at 2025, you'll see that the biggest obstacle you overcame was the fear you created yourself. You deserve to live a life unshackled from the chains of self-sabotage, with the confidence to pursue your biggest dreams. It's time to stop being your own enemy. Are you ready to break free from the chains of self-sabotage and finally become your greatest ally? If so, make it known, comment below. 2025 will be my year. Here's the rewritten and engaging version of your next part in English, maintaining the same length and tone. Weight number 2, toxic people. Have you ever felt inexplicably drained after spending time with certain people? Or maybe just the thought of interacting with them brings a wave of anxiety. Often, this has nothing to do with you personally, but rather the impact of toxic people in your life. Toxic people are those who, in some way, drain your energy, undermine your confidence, or leave you feeling worse than before. They might be overly critical, excessively negative, manipulative, or even dishonest. The most troubling part? You often don't realize the toll they're taking on you until you've already distanced yourself emotionally and find yourself feeling exhausted. These individuals don't have to be unpleasant all the time, but over time, they create an environment that stifles your ability to grow and thrive. So, why do we allow this? Many times, we become accustomed to these relationships for various reasons. It could be a strong family bond, a long-standing friendship, or even a romantic relationship where you feel stuck. Deep down, It might be the fear of losing the connection, the fear of being alone, or even the desire to please others. But here's the hard truth. Allowing toxic people to occupy space in your life means sacrificing your inner peace and emotional well-being. These individuals are often seeking something: attention, control, or validation. They achieve this through manipulation, guilt-tripping, constant criticism, or by creating unnecessary drama that pulls you in before you even realize it. When you give in to these dynamics, you start to notice that your happiness becomes tied to external factors, things entirely out of your control. Over time, this diminishes your self-esteem and erodes your ability to trust yourself. So, what does Stoicism teach us about this? Stoicism reminds us to focus on what is within our control and to accept what is outside of it. Toxic people are beyond your control. You cannot change them. But here's the good news. You can change something important. It's not the actions of others that disturb us, but how we interpret them. This timeless wisdom from the Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us of a profound truth. While we can't control the behavior of others, we can absolutely control our reactions. Instead of absorbing the negativity of those around you, Stoicism offers a powerful solution: emotional distancing. This doesn't mean ignoring or avoiding people entirely. It means protecting your emotional space by knowing when to step back. Sometimes, this might involve setting boundaries, limiting the time spent with certain individuals, or, in more extreme cases, cutting ties altogether. True freedom begins when you prioritize your inner peace above all else. So, ask yourself, who in your life genuinely uplifts, inspires, and strengthens you? And who, on the other hand, drains your energy, leaving you stuck in cycles of frustration and disappointment? Letting go of toxic relationships can be painful, especially when they involve people you deeply care about. But it's an essential step for entering 2025 with a renewed sense of purpose and energy. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's the presence of people who respect and support your growth. Don't be afraid to let go of those who add no positivity to your life. While the initial pain of leaving someone with a strong emotional bond might be challenging, the rewards of freedom, self-confidence, and emotional well-being will last much longer. You deserve to be surrounded by people who contribute to your happiness, inspire you to grow, and share your vision of peace and progress. Are you ready to break free from toxic ties and embrace a lighter, more fulfilling life? Start shedding those burdens now. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and share it with those who also deserve this transformation. Weight number 4, guilt and regret. Guilt and regret are universal feelings, anchors that tie us to the past, making it hard to move forward with the lightness life demands. We've all carried the weight of these emotions at some point. They often take root when we've made a mistake, hurt someone, or taken a wrong path. Slowly, they consume our minds and hearts, distorting how we see ourselves and the world. But what's the difference between guilt and regret? While they may seem similar, understanding their distinction is crucial. Guilt arises when we feel responsible for something we've done wrong, a word spoken in haste, an action taken without care, or even an opportunity missed. It comes with a desire to make things right, to seek redemption. Regret, on the other hand, is deeper and heavier. It's the pain of knowing we cannot undo the past. It's tied to the what-ifs that haunt us, the ache of reflecting on what we could have done differently but didn't. Both emotions can be paralyzing. Guilt keeps us questioning our choices, making us doubt ourselves over and over. Regret places us in a state of endless sorrow, as if peace or forgiveness is something we no longer deserve. So, why do we hold on to these feelings? Even though guilt and regret are painful, they serve an important psychological purpose. They make us aware of our mistakes and challenge us to grow. But often, they become excessive burdens, stopping us from moving forward. This happens because we try to control what is beyond our reach, the past. We cling to the hope that by suffering enough, we can somehow erase what happened. It's as if carrying guilt and regret is our way of paying for our mistakes, thinking that emotional pain can fix what went wrong. But this cycle doesn't bring true healing. Instead, it prolongs the pain, keeping us distant from our true selves, flawed yet capable of growth, learning, and forgiveness. Stoic philosophers like Seneca and Epictetus remind us that life is a series of choices, and that while pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. They urge us to focus on what we can control, not what we can't. We cannot change the past, but we can choose how we respond to it. Guilt and regret, while natural, are emotional reactions that can turn into anchors if left unchecked. The key is to acknowledge our mistakes, accept our humanity, and then release the pain to move forward. Epictetus taught that it's not the events themselves, but how we choose to respond to them that defines our inner peace. In other words, while you can't undo what's done, you can reshape how you view yourself. This means not letting your mistakes define you, but instead using them as lessons to grow. As you step into 2024, it's time to let go of the guilt and regret that may be weighing you down. Perhaps there's something you deeply regret or a mistake that keeps you awake at night. Recognizing the error is the first step, but the next step is to free yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or dismissing the pain. It means accepting that moving forward requires self-compassion. Forgiving yourself isn't a sign of weakness. It's a display of strength. True forgiveness begins within. It starts with acknowledging that you are human, that everyone makes mistakes, and that these errors don't define your essence. By releasing guilt and regret, you make room for growth and emotional healing. The weight you're carrying doesn't have to be permanent. As Stoic philosophy teaches, letting go of the past creates space for transformation. Forgiveness, for others and yourself, isn't about erasing what happened. It's about choosing freedom, peace, and progress. As the new year approaches, ask yourself, what could you achieve if you freed yourself from this emotional weight? Are you ready to let go of what holds you back and embrace a life of greater compassion for yourself? You deserve the peace that forgiveness brings, and the first step is forgiving yourself today. Weight number 5, playing the victim. Have you ever felt like the world was against you? As if every step you took was a struggle, every decision a mistake, and every dream a distant illusion? This emotional and mental state is one many of us experience at some point. The heavy feeling of being a victim of life, dragged along by circumstances, events, or even the actions of those around us. On some level, we've all felt this weight. The belief that we have no control over what happens to us. But what does it truly mean to be a victim of life? Being a victim of life is a mindset where we place blame on everything and everyone outside of ourselves. It's the belief that external forces dictate our lives, that luck has never been on our side, and that we are destined for failure or pain. This victim mentality is powerful because it leaves us feeling helpless. It can start small, perhaps with a criticism at work, an argument with a friend, or a choice that didn't go as planned. Over time, however, it becomes a filter through which we see the world, distorting our perception of reality. When we adopt this mindset, we convince ourselves that we are powerless against circumstances. This creates an emotional prison. Instead of seeking solutions or alternatives, we remain stuck in pain, resentment, and self-pity. It feels as though the universe is conspiring against us. But here's the truth. By acting like victims, we unknowingly become prisoners of our own story. The danger of a victim mentality. The real danger of this mindset isn't just that it keeps us chained to the past. It's the way it limits our future. When we see ourselves as victims, we stop believing we have control over our lives. We feel as though we're at the mercy of fate, as if our choices, actions, and even emotions don't matter. This is why many people remain stuck in unfulfilling situations, whether it's toxic relationships, unsatisfying jobs, or harmful habits. They convince themselves that there's no way out, that they don't deserve better, and that change is impossible. But here's the hard truth. The first step toward real change is breaking free from this narrative. The victim mentality can feel comforting in a way. It allows us to avoid responsibility for our choices. but it also blinds us to the fact that we are powerful agents in our own story. True transformation begins when we stop seeing ourselves as victims and start recognizing ourselves as the protagonists of our lives. Stoic wisdom, reclaiming your power. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, who faced immense adversity in his life, taught that it's not the events themselves that trouble us, it's our opinion about them. The victim mindset arises because we focus too much on what is outside our control and ignore what lies within our power. For example, you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. You can't change past mistakes, but you can choose to learn from them. You can't rewrite history, but you can shape your future with the choices you make today. By shifting our focus from external circumstances to our internal responses, we reclaim control, breaking free from the victim mindset. Deciding to leave the victim mindset behind doesn't mean denying the pain you've experienced. It means choosing not to let that pain define you. Ask yourself, are you stuck in a cycle of blaming others for your unhappiness? Do you feel powerless to change your circumstances? Are you waiting for someone or something to save you? If so, it's time to take back your power. Recognize that while you may not control everything that happens, you do control how you interpret and respond to those events. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, to focus on what is within your control and let go of what isn't. From victim to protagonist, you have the ability to rewrite your story. You can choose to rise above the challenges, take ownership of your life, and embrace the role of a protagonist. As the new year approaches, consider this. What could you achieve if you stopped seeing yourself as a victim? How would your life change if you stepped into your power and took responsibility for your happiness? Remember, you are not at the mercy of life. You are the author of it. The pen is in your hands. Will you write a story of growth, courage, and strength? The choice is yours. Breaking free from the victim mentality. We often give external events the power to affect us emotionally. However, the Stoics believe that the real control we have is over how we react to these circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. By embracing this perspective, we stop being mere observers of our own lives and start becoming the creators of our own story. Adversities are part of life, but they do not define who we are. What defines our lives is how we choose to face them. In Stoicism, this concept is called amor fati, the love of fate. This doesn't mean passively accepting difficulties, but rather learning to grow with them, using them as tools for personal development. Release the victim mentality. Let go of the victim role, and embrace being the protagonist of your life. You are not a victim of what happened, but you are the author of how you respond and move forward. This doesn't mean the challenges disappear, but it means you choose how to handle them. Every challenge, every pain, and every mistake carries within it an opportunity for learning and growth. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim, you begin to strengthen yourself. By embracing the power of your choices, you can rewrite your story. This doesn't mean ignoring suffering or pain, but looking at the past with understanding and using the lessons it offers to build a stronger and more authentic future. The power of letting go. By abandoning the victim mentality, you also free those around you, creating a healthier environment based on mutual support and transformative action. How to take the first step. The first step to stop being a victim of life is to take responsibility for what is within your control. This includes your choices, thoughts, reactions, and especially your attitude toward challenges. Ask yourself, what can I do right now to change my reality? What is within my power to improve my life? As you begin to take these small actions, you'll notice that the overwhelming circumstances start to lose their power over you. You will feel lighter, more prepared to act, and more capable of positively transforming your life. Perhaps it's time to leave behind the burden of seeing yourself as a victim. The approaching new year is an opportunity to start fresh, to free yourself from the past and take control of your journey. The truth about transformation. Each of these burdens can act as an invisible anchor that prevents us from moving forward, from reaching our full potential. and from living authentically. But here's the truth that many of us resist. The power to transform our life is in our hands. It's not what happened in the past that defines us, nor the external circumstances that determine our value or destiny. What truly matters is how we choose to respond to what is imposed on us. Difficulties, failures, and mistakes are inevitable. We all face them. But it's the choices we make in the face of adversity that shape our journey. When we decide to let go of the burdens that weigh us down, the guilt, the regret, the victim mentality, and begin acting with more awareness and intention, what seemed impossible starts to become reality. Stoic wisdom for inner peace. Stoicism teaches us that peace and freedom do not come from controlling the world around us, but from mastering how we respond to it. By practicing self-discipline and self-awareness, we gain the power to break free from the emotional chains that bind us. This doesn't mean ignoring the pain or challenges of life. It means learning to see every difficulty as an opportunity to grow and become a stronger, wiser version of ourselves. What weighs you down? As you reflect on the months ahead and the years that follow, ask yourself, what are the weights you still carry? Which past stories do you allow to define who you are? What beliefs and patterns do you continue to hold that only keep you small and stagnant? Now is the time to leave those burdens behind. The path to transformation begins with the decision to change, with the courage to rewrite your story, and the willingness to face challenges with a new perspective. No matter where you are right now, what matters is what you decide to do with it. You have the ability to change. You have the power to create the life you want, to become the person you wish to be. The true power lies within you, waiting to be unlocked. Embrace your power. So, if you're ready to leave behind what weighs you down, to abandon the limiting thoughts, draining relationships, and paralyzing habits, remember, you are not alone on this journey. Every step you take toward freedom is a step toward a more authentic and stronger version of yourself. The power to change is in your hands. Set yourself free now. Imagine how your life could be if you knew exactly how to assert yourself in a firm yet respectful way, earning the respect you deserve and excelling in any environment. Curious to learn how? Click on the video on the screen and discover the essential steps to gain authority without losing your essence. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with those who also need this transformation. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. Leave your comment below or simply write The Wise Stoic. I'll wrap up here, and until soon, my friends.